is for All Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the All Sports Podcast Olympic Daily. Wow, catch your breath. Having just finished watching the pool, the swimming in the pool, La Défense Arena, and having preceded that with the Rugby Sevens, I feel like I've just competed in a 14-minute Rugby Sevens game. It was absolutely electric. What a brilliant first evening for the Olympic Games. France has done itself proud, and they did themselves proud specifically in Stade de France in the Rugby Sevens. We'll get into that, and we will also talk about the swimming. But first, let's start off with the cycling road race, the time trial. So first off was the women's individual time trial. And favourite, as we said in yesterday's podcast, was Chloe Dygert. Unfortunately, she came off her bike, and that seems to be what cost her in the end, getting higher up the podium. But to still finish with a bronze, having come off her bike, was phenomenal. Many people were coming off their bike, specific corners on roundabouts. It was just too wet, and there was no grip to turn the wheel. And most people were coming off their bikes. Which was very, very hard to watch, specifically for me, having come off my bike in consecutive years and done my shoulder. I know just how painful that is, but for them to get back up and push it to finish was very impressive. Finishing in first place was Grace Brown from Australia. Didn't see that coming, and also didn't see it coming, her winning by a minute and a half. An incredible ride, and she just kept the pace down the whole way around. Wasn't even particularly tentative around the corners, did push it, and just looked very confident in the wet. Second place, and a real surprise to me, was Anna Henderson for Great Britain. So as I said, a minute and a half back, but she only just pipped Chloe Dygert to get the silver versus the bronze by, well, it was just under 1 second actually, 9/10 of a second. So that fall for Chloe Dygert is what's definitely cost her a silver. Maybe the first as well, although Grace Brown's time was absolutely out of this world. But an amazing start to my medal watching today. With Anna Henderson coming in second for Great Britain. Over to the men's, and I did say for me, Josh Tarling was probably the favourite, or one of the favourites. He unfortunately had a puncture, and despite him having a puncture, he came fourth, and he was just outside of the medals by 2 seconds, which is absolutely brutal because it probably cost him 15, 20, 30 seconds, that puncture. And had he have been 30 seconds faster, he would have finished first. But it was, as we correctly predicted, Remco Evenepoel that did get that first position. Thought he would suit a more hilly route, but coming off the back of the Tour de France, full of confidence with his third place and his white jersey, got it done in the individual time trial. So a brilliant ride from him. And second place was Filippo Ganna. So we'd said the Italian looked like it was going to be between him and Tarling for the number one spot, but he was just pipped to the post by Remco Evenepoel. But Filippo Ganna in second. So watching those races in the rain, it looked like it was going to be a bit of a washout. And then for the Rugby Sevens, it looked quite similar too. They struggled with the greasy ball, a lot of knock-ons and very scrappy play, a lot of nil-nils throughout the first halves of the placing games as well as the semi-finals. But in the semi-finals, France got through to the final, and Fiji, as predicted against Australia, it was going to be it was a one-horse race. They obviously got through as favourites to face against France. So Fiji, France in the final this evening, and an amazing game. Very, very physical. Surprised as I was, France beat Fiji, the favourites. And I don't think Fiji were just the favourites. They were outstanding favourites. And France have been nowhere on the World 7 series over the last 4 years. Since Dupont came into the team earlier in this year, foregoing doing the Six Nations with the Rugby 15 side for Union, opting for the Sevens and to focus on the Olympics. Made a difference. He scored two tries in the final, including a pushover try. The last touch of the game was Dupont's try, so it seemed like it was just all written in the stars for him. So it really was Dupont's day, I'm calling it, for first day of the Olympics, and the atmosphere and the sound of the French public in Stade de France booming out La Marseillaise was very, very emotional. Something about a host nation in finals, that extra 10% must be real. I've never experienced it myself, obviously, but it was palpable, that extra lift that it gave them, and the sound of the crowd every time France went on the attack. And that brought the curtain down on the Rugby 7, so Dupont's day. And then into the pool. So there was some events specifically looking forward to. Called out the 400 metre freestyles. In the men's 400 freestyle, I said we had Martins as favourite, and we had the two Aussies against Kim, with the Aussie coach also coaching Kim. Well, it was, in fact, Martins that got it done. And then it was Cam Winnington, the Aussie, that came second, and Kim came third. So the Aussie coach was right. Kim did beat one of the Aussies, but he didn't win the race. But it went basically on form and by time. In the other 400 metre, women's 400 metre, we had Katie Ledecky, absolute all-star Olympian for the last now third Olympics. You had Summer McIntosh from Canada, only 17 years old, in her second Olympics, also as world record holder, and Ariarne Titmus, currently world leading time this year. And Ariarne Titmus got it done. Such big names: Ariarne Titmus, Summer McIntosh, and Katie Ledecky. Katie Ledecky probably stronger over the longer distances and will be focusing on the 8 and the 15. So probably not any of these ladies' strongest or favourite events, and for the three of them to dominate it like they did, very impressive. Maybe the last Olympics we see from Katie Ledecky, but unless she focuses on exclusively the longer distances in the next Olympics, with it being in LA, she may be keen to do it in her home Olympics, but Summer McIntosh, we're definitely going to be seeing more of her. Still, as I said, just 17 years old in her second Olympics. And Ariarne Titmus went out fast and maintained it. An incredible display of swimming. And then we had the relays, as expected. United States and Australia dominating for both the men and the women. Australia winning the women's 4x100, and United States absolutely blowing the field away in the men's 4. So upcoming on day 2, Sunday the 28th, it's going to be from early in the morning again. Got the shooting, followed by the cycling, mountain bike, the women's cross country taking place at 1:10 in the afternoon. So these are all medalled events. Got judo medals as well up for grabs in the afternoon. Skateboarding street final on from 4 o'clock, so that's well worth the watch too. Good to have skateboarding back in the Olympics. And then the evening swimming kicks off from 7:30 with the men's 400 metre individual medley taking place at 7:30, followed by the women's 100 metre butterfly. And then at 8:44 got the men's 100 metre breaststroke final with Adam Peaty. So that's going to be one to look out for tomorrow evening. So hope you've enjoyed the day as much as I have. If you've enjoyed listening along, like, subscribe, rate 5-star on Spotify, and you can get in touch at allsportspods@gmail.com, and I'll catch you on the next one.